The common types of shots used in film and video projects are wide shot, medium close-up, extreme close-up, and over the shoulder. The difference between the shots is simply a difference in which portion of the image the shot is focused on. For wide shot, the wide shot shows the entire actor or group of actors from top to bottom using a lens roughly equivalent to 30 millimeters. The entire scene is visible, and this can help set up a scene at the onset. For the medium shot shows the upper body and head of the actor using a lens roughly equivalent to 50 millimeter focal length. Though one can see less of the scene, a small portion of the background is still visible. And then we have the medium close-up. The medium close-up can have a striking effect on the audience. Using a lens roughly equivalent to 75mm focal length, one can slightly throw the background out of focus while focusing on the detail of the actors, usually the face and the upper chest. One shot that I particularly like is the close-up. The close-up shot is when you film the upper shoulders and the face of the actor, or simply the face and neck, and this will highlight an emotional and dramatic scene. A common focal length is 100mm. Extreme close-up, or ECU. The extreme close-up is closer than a close-up. It will just feature the face. The editor may struggle to figure out when to best use such a close-up, but as with the regular close-up, it will add to the dramatic effect. And occasionally you want to use the over-the-shoulder. Over-the-shoulder shots are frequently done in interviews and in the movies. They help to maintain the relative position of the actors in the viewer's mind, and to keep the feeling that the actors are talking to one another rather than to the viewer. So the question comes, how do we know when to use what shots? Well, first you might want to begin with standard coverage. When you record a scene, you will have to get a few standard shots before you can get creative with more elaborate shots. The standard shots, also referred to as standard coverage, are your way of ensuring you have at the very least a minimum editable sequence that will work in post. This is insurance that you can finish your video project. The standard coverage includes shooting the same action from different perspectives. You first start off with a wide master shot that includes all the elements in the scene. Afterwards, you move in closer to the scene by filming medium of the actors, and then you follow up with close-ups of the actors. Having multiple perspectives or angles of the same action will allow the editor the freedom to edit a basic but professional looking scene. One of my favorite cinematographic rules is called the rule of thirds. It's one of the most interesting and most useful rules in cinematography. It can take only a few minutes to explain to a beginner, and once they adopt this rule as part of their practice, the result and improvement in their work can be dramatic. Many beginners will film an object by placing it at the center of the screen. This can look static and boring. The rule of thirds is a way to break down different areas of the frame into 9 zones by dividing vertical and horizontal space into thirds. First, one needs to break the frame by dividing it vertically into 3 areas. Second, the frame can also be divided horizontally into 3 areas. There will be 4 important points of intersection. A subject, object, or element that is placed along the lines or along these points of intersection can lead to a scene that is visually more cinematic. One other rule to pay attention to is the 180-degree rule. It's a very important rule. When filming actors engage in a scene, there are many considerations that filmmakers must consider. One of these considerations is the 180-degree rule. The 180-degree rule helps filmmakers plan where to place the camera. The rule requires that an imaginary line is drawn through the scene. All shots of the actors are then to take place from one side of this imaginary line. Any attempt to cross this line with the camera can lead to several problems. For one, it could be very jarring for the audience to experience the image shifts, and the audience can lose their orientation within the scene. Further, the eye lines may not cut together properly anymore. the filmmaker should strive to ensure that the camera does not leave the 180-degree space. Maintaining screen direction is also important for the editing task. Actors must always appear to make moves in the right directions. Otherwise, the editor will have a tough time to put together the scene in a continuous manner.